Just a little, since it is my 2-year anniversary of being on YouTube, I
Happy
decided to be
anniversary, Steve.
thank you, thank you. So I decided to be a little bit funny because I can be humorous. I mean, I have a lot of sarcasm in my attitude when I talk to people. It's just a part of who I am. But it is my 2-year anniversary. Little did I know 2 years later I would be in the position that I'm in because at the time you were already established, and we all know, or those that don't know, I kind of encouraged Janet to go ahead to move forward to start her channel. And then after she did that, we kind of lost touch for a bit and then we met up. And I actually found Janet's channel by complete accident. She happened to turn up in my feed at the time, and I commented on something having to do with a French toast recipe that you had put up, and I mentioned something, and then from there, I think we had slowly started to, you know,
Re-hang out.
re-hang out. And then came I wanted to start a channel on July 22nd, which was also my dad's birthday, which is your anniversary, but I had a few things hanging I had to clear out. But then I said, you know what, October 19th, my birthday's in 12 days. This will be like an early gift to me. I said, the heck with it. Went over, created, you told me about StreamYard or whatever it was, hit the record, and I just went with it. And I'll include my first video. That'll be, I'll mention something about that at some point in my community tab so all of you can go over and view it, so you guys can see the little progress, that I've made throughout the couple of years. But I never thought I would be where I'm at because I had a little bit of apprehensiveness because I didn't know really what content to talk about. That was my big thing. Oh, what am I going to talk about? What if they don't like it? They might get bored. They may leave. I was worried that my channel would not, you know, escalate and be where it's at now. But that's not the case. So, anyway, Jan, I'm glad that, you decided to pop on here with me. You're actually on my first ever video that I put up a
I'm
couple of years
telling
back.
you, Steve, when you and I first discussed the option of, you're deciding, to come on, and I reminded you, that you pushed me out the helicopter window, and we were talking, and I said, I believe you have a lot to offer the viewers, and you do, and you
Hmm.
still do, and you still will, and bless your channel always. And back then, it's hard to see a vision of what you want to do, because even myself, Steve, I started off in a totally, completely different direction. I mean, of all things, weight loss, which of course we laugh at that one. But I realized that it was stressing me out to do that type of a channel. I said, it's not for me. But then one day I decided randomly to do a video about the cash envelope system. And when you're at 50 subscribers, if you get like almost 200 views, that seems like 1,000. So I said, you know what? I like to talk about money. I've had many experiences on learning how to save money. I was married, then I was a single mother, then I remarried again. But when I was a single mother, you sure learn a lot of money saving tips and tricks as a school teacher, which gets hardly any good salary, and a single mother.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up with the frugal community. But your channel is great. I love your recipe Tuesday, and I know it brings you joy too to help people, with these great recipes.
It does. I try to, there have been times, you know, because my Recipe Tuesday show is an audio where I'm not on camera, I'm just verbally speaking. But what I do, I have been known to put up little banners of how to put the recipe together. If I don't do that, I do leave enough of a pause between each recipe ingredient. That way you've got time to write it down if you want to, put it together. So I try to make an effort to make it easy and as audible and understanding for everyone that they can, pick up on what I'm trying to come across, like 1.5 cups water, and I'll pause, 1 1/4 cup baking soda. I leave enough space that way if I don't put the banner up, because sometimes I have been known to do that. So I do enjoy the Recipe Tuesday. I've had people ask me, well, Steve, why don't you go in the kitchen and prepare the meals? Well, yes, I could do that. I do know how to cook. I like to cook, but that takes a little bit more time. I have to set up a tripod, I'd have to aim it. There's a little bit more. It's not just as easy as go in the
You're not
kitchen.
kidding. I've been asked that question. I said, well, number one, I'm not a cooking channel in my case. I'm not a cooking channel. I talk about saving money and maybe I'll throw a recipe on that's budget friendly. But someone said, why don't you do this? Why don't you do it? Well, I'm like, well, why don't you get your own channel?
Yeah,
You got all the answers. Get your own channel.
that's
So
true. That is
unless
true.
I don't mean to be rude, but unless you're behind the camera, to set up a cooking channel is extremely labor intensive. It's also very cost intensive because sometimes you have to buy ingredients of things you may not even eat. So
Yeah.
my heart goes out and hat goes off to anyone running a cooking channel.
Yeah, there's a little bit involving there, and I say that because I've watched several channels that do the cooking. Um, but I with me and the recipes, I'm very thorough, I'm very on point. I make it to where I'm audible, easy to understand. You can jot it down if you decide you want to make. And some of the recipes that I put up are my own. Some I've actually made, some I have not made, but do interest me. There's still a couple. One of the ones that interests me that I put up not too long ago is a crock pot cobbler. It talks about apple. Do you have to use specifically apple? No, you can go your cherry, your peach, whatever fruit flavor. Something you might think that'll work. You use your creativity. We all have that, and put it together, and you just set it for 4 or 6 hours. I can't remember right off. I know one is 4, I think, for the high, and I think 6 is for the low. And then you've got a homemade cobbler waiting for you. It doesn't get any easier than that, so
But in
using that.
addition to I'm sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, what I was about to put on the last there is that it doesn't get any easier than that because it's in a crock pot. It doesn't give off a lot of heat. You're not using 350, 400-degree temperature out of an oven. So it's more like a set it and forget it type thing,
Right.
you know.
And that's being very mindful for the viewer. Um, Picking out specific recipes, considering their budget, considering their time. A slow cooker is my personal best friend. I'm not going to lie to you because I could be watching a Sunday afternoon movie and I could be doing, a couple of dinners, maybe 4 or 5, freeze them up for the week while I'm enjoying my movie. Are you kidding? For pennies on the dollar? You have great recipes. There's one that struck out. Well, a few of them struck out. One of the ones that I think that is like so affordable and so yummy. It looks like teriyaki chicken legs or something in the slow cooker.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That
Oh,
is crock pot barbecue chicken drumsticks.
yeah.
Um,
I need to share that on my community tab
that's a good
for the
one.
community that doesn't get to see that yet.
That is a good one, and I'll explain. Usually, a lot of the time, drumsticks at the store is not always that expensive per pound. They
No.
usually run about a dollar nine, dollar nine, 19.99 sometime. Um, you could step it up, like I said, I mentioned adding a little bit of soy sauce to give you the teriyaki. If you use you could maybe put a little mustard seed in with it. You could to make it like a Carolina type barbecue sauce. There's, it's amazing what the mind can come up with. If you're creative, you could probably go about at least 10 different ways with that recipe.
Like in a
Um,
couple of weeks, I'm expecting, a visit from some relatives. And I said, oh, That's Steve's recipe. I have to hang on to that one because because I have to, put that up on the slow cooker while I'm doing other side dishes that I could do make aheads and just pop them in the oven. The slow cooker is going. When I saw that picture, I says, "No, this is going to be a new family favorite, affordable and delicious, and anything slow cooker's got Janet's name on it." So
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that and I always try to include no more than 5 ingredients to make
yeah,
that way it's not breaking the pocketbook. Another recipe and I make it. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about making it maybe today. I just made some over the weekend. I have it in my lineup. I've got my potato soup. It's not my potato soup recipe. I can't take all the credit. It actually comes from a best friend. His mom made it. I believe his grandmother made it as well. So it's like, and it wa- and I watched enough times to on how to put it together, and all it is 4 ingredients: potatoes, milk, butter, potato flakes.
love it.
That's it.
Can you imagine that soup with that chicken?
You could mix it.
That I mean, like, have the soup as an appetizer or a main course
You
and the
could.
chicken and then, like, a garden salad. Oh,
You could. Yeah,
very
I never
affordable, very
didn't
affordable.
did not see that's where the creative I didn't think about that because usually when I eat soup, I usually eat it like a standalone or if I want like a grilled cheese, but that's usually like a vegetable soup or tomato soup when I do that. But sure, I don't see why you couldn't do that. Now there is one soup I've never made it. It's not I can't it cannot be much harder than the potato soup. I would like to make cream of broccoli.
Oh, wow, sure. I've actually done that. I will tell you a quick story about cream of broccoli soup. I went to this wonderful restaurant in a place called West New York, New Jersey. It's actually in New Jersey, but the name of their town is West New York, New Jersey, which is a silly sounding name, but the restaurant was great. So we had ordered some sandwiches, and to go with it was cream of broccoli soup. We were so in love with this soup, we asked for a second order to take home. So then I said, "Well, what's your secret?" So basically, what the person told us, they gave it away at the restaurant. Really, the answer: they took frozen broccoli, get a load of this. They heated up, defrosted it. Once it was defrosted, they added half and half butter, a little
Mhm.
bit of garlic powder, whirled it in the blender, reheated it. Done.
Okay, that all right. That was a long
Oh, so
I
good.
always see, I always thought cream or broccoli and cheese, if you wanted to step it up, you could go that. I
Sure.
always figured cream of broccoli could not be any harder to make than, potato soup. And from what you're describing, it's on the same step across.
And if you have an immersion blender, oh my word.
Right, and I know that when it comes to making cream of broccoli, you wanna use the floret section, the top.
Yes, that's what we did. It was really good. Oh my gosh. And it's so affordable and so delicious. But Steve does a lot more than just, Recipe Tuesday. There comes, a point on Saturday afternoons where we join together and we have, wonderful literally you could sit down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and hang out with us. Kind of like hangouts, really, if you think about it, right? Almost every weekend, right?
Yeah, so but I usually like I said, I wanted to put up a video about my 2-year anniversary. I've got to go back and look. I know I've got the video from the very first day that I uploaded. You were alongside. I do believe I've got one from last year. So what I will do though, this will be here, and what I can do is I can link the first video that I ever did, and I can do the 1 year if it's there. I'm
I think
thinking it
that's a
is,
great idea. Why not?
and I can link it in my community tab. That way, you guys can go over to kind of get a feel, as progress through in the last couple of years for me. But no, honestly though, coming back to me, I did not think I would be where I'm at. And I'm pretty sure even like a music artist or or a music group that's just coming onto the scene. They don't know they're going to be successful. They
No.
don't know if they're going to have a #1 record or if their album or their song is going to go platinum. You don't know that. That's not the best you can do is put out your performance as who you are as a artist or a group. Keep your fingers crossed and hope that people out in the world like what they hear. That's all you can do. And I consider myself at this point in the couple of years that I've been on, I consider myself at gold status, not platinum. I would say the platinum would happen once I hit the 1,000 mark, but I consider myself as a gold record, if we want to use that example, in
It
YouTube.
takes perseverance. It takes it really does. Being able to be a self-starter. It takes ignoring naysayers. What You're at 2 years exactly now. What advice or suggestion, better than advice, what suggestion would you give to someone contemplating or they're in it and they feel like giving up and they're like they only have 50 subs, for example? Do you have
Mm,
any like suggestion?
pretty easy, and I can vouch for this. I've only had one time that I was actually considering walking away from YouTube, and I think it was about the time I think I had just hit 100 or just prior to the 100 subscriber mark. Thinking back, I think it was just before I was at about 80, 77 subscribers. I was about to just, I'm out of here. I'm done. But I had, at that point, I had people come back and say, don't leave, don't leave. We like your content. Please don't go.
Excuse me, I remember that looking
Right.
back.
So you are going to have a point where you just want to walk away. That's where you don't want to walk away.
I went through it. I remember
But
myself
it,
too.
it, it,
Yeah.
it wasn't a very long spill for me, but I
Right.
went through it briefly. Don't give up.
No.
Stay with it. If your content is not working, you might have good topic matter. Expand on it. Expand on what you have. Sometimes the title of your channel does not add up with what the content that you put out. Because if something doesn't add up, you're going to spin wheels in one spot, one spot, one spot, one spot.
I'm
You
glad you brought that up, Steve, because it's true. If a person's channel title doesn't jive with what they're doing, in my opinion, that's really confusing to the viewer. Like my title can't be any clearer. Jan from New York City saves money.
somebody
I mean, am I talking about climbing Mount Everest? No, Jan from New York City saves money.
right. My channel, I'm Steve Young 74. It's my name, first and last, and my year of birth. But mine is kind of at a neutral position type name. So I can actually go a little bit across the map, which topically, content wise, I've been known to do that.
Right.
But if you have a channel that says, um, walk around the city with me, and you're talking about grocery hauls, well, anyway,
Okay, I'm back.
all right, I know what that was about.
Yes, correct.
Okay, if where I was before that happened, if you have a channel that says walk around with me in the city and your channel talks about grocery hauls, you have a problem because the channel name and your content don't match.
That's right. It's very confusing. And you're always thinking of the viewer. That's why your channel is thriving. You're not thinking about Steve. Jan's not thinking about Jan. We, I don't mind bragging about this. We think about the viewer. I mean, I'm not just going to just get on here and just any old which way.
Mhm.
We have a purpose. Today's purpose is we're celebrating your 2 years. 2 years. Did you ever think that you'd be, pursuing this 2 years based on what you said earlier? No, but here you are.
Yeah, if you have plethora of information which I like to think that I do, I'm going to share it with everybody. Why not? If I can help one person, great. If I help 5 or 2, I've over exceeded my expectation. But if somebody's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I will to come back to what you mentioned a few minutes ago. Don't You're going to have butterflies. You're going to be apprehensive a little bit, and that's normal because we're only human. But if you have the content, definitely put yourself out there. Let the world know what you have to offer. Um, I have someone that I know, somebody I've known for quite a few years, since I've known this person since the early 1990s. And I've mentioned to him on a couple, 3, maybe 4 occasions, you have a lot of good content. You like to talk. You should have a YouTube channel. Well, what am I going to talk about? Uh, could you just imagine me being on a he's already having the little bit apprehensiveness, building the walls around him. I said, but you have the ability to do that. You have the gift to gab. I said, if nothing else, come on YouTube with me and maybe put yourself out there, at least to let if you got something to offer, put it out there. Even if it's just coming on 1 day a week. That person could be like a channel contributor like I was to you.
I was just going to say that. That's a good route. Anyone thinking of doing it and you want to dabble in it, become a channel contributor to a favorite channel of yours.
Right. I did that with you for about 5 months before I up and decided, "Hey, I can do this. I'm gonna go ahead and put up my channel." So, don't be scared. It's only human. You are gonna have a little bit of butterfly. You might be apprehensive, but one good thing about being a contributor is it kinda breaks the ice for you.
And get your name out there too.
It does. Right. So, all right.
Well, Steve, congratulations from the bottom of my heart. It meant a lot to
Thank
me
you.
that you pursued it. It's not easy. No one's going to say it's a walk in the park. It's mostly 99% very rewarding, but it
Yeah.
does, like anything else in life, there's always that other thing we have to deal with sometimes. But congratulations to you.
Oh, oh yeah. I do appreciate it. And like I said, you know, I will continue on. I have, I've come to know a lot of my subscribers, loyal subscribers. I want to use that word specifically because that's what all of you are that are there, not playing any favoritism, but that's what each and every one of you that have opted to choose my channel, my content, you enjoy it, you come back week after week to see what I have.
They're
And I will
amazing.
and I will let them know in the community tab what is going to come about. So I do appreciate that, you know, um, it will continue on. And like I said, I have one more milestone I have to reach, and I'll let nature take its course and see how that goes. I just reached my 4,000 watch hour just not too many days back. So I'm just going to let everything now
Yeah,
I'm in a good position. Now I'm just going to go with the flow type, but I do
excellent.
enjoy it. I'm glad that you could come aboard to,
Oh, my
be here.
honor. Oh, my word. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah, I was with you on day one, and here we are 2 years later. So,
right. All right, everybody. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Um, I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow with another video. So be in tune for that. I'll let everybody know in the community tab about that. So hope all of you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
bye.